Yo, what's up, Be Life 420 family? Coming back at it with another YouTube video. I know it's been a while, and just to let y'all know, I've not just been off just slacking. We've been actually focusing on life a little bit other than just creating some smoking YouTube videos for y'all. Because you know the boy wants to do a little bit more than that. So we've been going around pondering, finding ourselves a little bit. Because you know, sometimes you gotta be lost in order to be found. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Can't just wake up and be like, oh shit, we know exactly what we're doing today. Sometimes you just gotta take it with a flow and pretty much just ride it like a wave at the end of the day. Got some people cutting the grass, so it might be a little loud. We're not in the same crib. Like I talked in the intro video yesterday. It started raining, so it got cut a little bit short. So we're gonna bring it back in the day, reel it back in. Pretty much we're just gonna be going over what we have been working on a little bit with y'all. I got into the art form of bonsai. Now, to let y'all know a little history on this, when I was 15, well, ever since I was younger, I've always just been an outdoorsy kid, and as some of y'all that have been tuning into the channel know, we like going outside, exploring the outdoors, hiking. There's gonna be more of that to come, don't worry. We ain't forget about that shit. We just been focusing on pretty much real life other than YouTube, and now that we are getting to a stage that I don't want to say want to be at, but yeah, it's pretty much where we wanted to be before we got back to YouTube, because I noticed that I was kind of getting a little bit off balance and just focusing mainly on YouTube, and I almost started getting repetitive, and I had to pretty much hone down and see what exactly the goal and the long game plan is for this, because I'm not trying to do no short-term shit. Hell no. This for all life, baby. That's why it's called Be Life 420 up in this bitch. But like I mentioned, we're gonna be staying away from the smoking videos for now. We're gonna bring y'all a little bit more of some real life shit, even though that was some real life. It's gonna be more than just staying out at the crib. We've been going out and meeting some new connections. We lost some people along the way, but that's just how it is. People come and go. It's the memories that you make along the way. It's all still love, baby. But anyways, let's get back into why we are here today. I want to come and show y'all the mystical garden that we've been growing on. We've been working with. So I've been pretty much ever since I stopped dropping videos is when I really started focusing mainly on music and other stuff I wanted to do in life. And one thing, I just felt like I was missing something pretty much deep down in my heart. And sometimes when you let go of the mind desires, you can find out what the heart really wants, and you just gotta listen to that. And me personally, I always just love being around nature, so I was like, what's the best way that I could bring that real life and watch it grow up in person? And I remember when I was younger, I went to this botanical bonsai museum out in Washington, D.C. And ever since I've been there, I was like, oh shit, I know exactly what I'm trying to do. And at the end of the day, just a quick overview of it. Bonsai is all it really means is a plant grown in a container. So as you can see, all these are in a container. Me personally, I wouldn't necessarily classify them as bonsai quite yet, but they are in the training for it. But some of these have become right over here. We got this umbrella tree. That one, we could call it a bonsai. I got a salus in a container. You guys can come and see. Y'all see the roots on this thing. Roots are beautiful. But anyways, we're just gonna do a quick, brief video. Pretty much let you guys know we still alive. We still coming at it. And there's a lot more to come. Pretty much I've just been getting myself right back on track, right back on route on where we wanted to be. Other than I was just trying to do, because you know sometimes we gotta be like a tree, and you know these trees, they don't force themselves to grow all at once in one day. Like they take stages and stages. Like one of these new leaves starts, let's see here. It starts out as a little something like that, and then through the growth, the sunrise is getting the nutrients that it needs, is able to grow into the full leaf. But now these leaves are only able to grow as long as the health of the tree is functioning. Almost similar to us as humans, our bodies are going to grow depending on the thoughts that we think. Our thoughts are similar to leaves, if you get the gist on what I'm trying to say. But anyways, we ain't gonna get too deep with that. We're just gonna keep it on the surface, keep it slide real quick. But yeah, I got a lot of maples. Probably my favorite tree, and I'll let you know why. Mainly their leaves, for starters. I've had some people say, oh, they look like weed leaves. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I just love the way their leaves look. They're beautiful, and they change color all throughout season, from spring to fall to summer, and then they'll eventually become this green. All the trees have a different color, even though they are of similar seeds. Like, I'm trying to come over here show y'all some of the seeds that I grew this year. Found some maple seeds on the ground, so I decided to plant them. These are some of them right here. As you can see, they all grow a little bit different, and they all got some different colors to them. They all got something different to give. Like right here, talk to you guys a little bit about this one. I planted 2 seeds together, hoping that they can grow their roots inside the pot together and form a twin trunk. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. But what's interesting is you see how all these are pretty much the same size. This was the very first seed that sprouted, and you can just see the size difference. You can see gorgeous leaves. Started out as just the first pair. Now maples, you can really tell on the young seed, they grow in opposite intervals. So you see that first pair, they're going that way. And then you turn it, you got the second pair that grows the opposite direction. And you want to keep that in mind for when you're pruning maples, so that depending on where you cut it, is going to depend on how it's going to grow. Now this is one of my favorite trees right here. This is called a golden full moon maple. Now this tree, when I first got it, it was not as burnt. I was able to keep it a little bit more protected. At the old crib that we lived at, we had some big ass trees. I was able to put some shade under them. Now I could probably put them somewhere along in there, but I like keeping all the trees in the garden together, and they can handle the sun. Just some of the leaves may end up getting scorched, like you could see right here, but I'll recover. I'm not too worried about that. They like the sun. But yeah, man, this shit has been so fun to watch. Me personally, I just love watching stuff grow and seeing how it grows, first of all, and it's the development of it. Pretty much the same thing with this YouTube channel. For those that know, I've been with me since day one. The very first YouTube channel that we started no longer is existing, so this is going to be our only one. And like I mentioned in the intro video from yesterday, we're going to probably end up creating some different channels just to help navigate through it. But I don't know, I'm still kind of piecing some things together. Y'all let me know if you guys just want me to flood this channel with all sorts of different content, or if you kind of just want me keep things a little bit more organized and easier to find. And we'll have this channel pretty much just for everything that I want to do on YouTube, and then we'll create a separate channel specifically for music updates, shit like that. So what I'm thinking is probably like a vlogging channel for this type shit, for real. And then everything, I'll probably create a separate channel a little bit down the road for some of the other moves that we be making. But anyways, I just want to come and bring this to you guys. I got azalea. Oh yeah, we'll start going down the list. We got maples. Majority of these are maples for real. I already talked to you guys about this coral bark maple, Baton Rouge ginkgo tree. An interesting thing about this tree actually is this is the oldest species of tree. The ginkgo is older than some of the dinosaurs that I've bought. It is pretty much one of the very first species of trees to grow on this planet, and it survived all these years. Well, not this tree in specific, but the species, if you're getting the drift. It's known as a sole survivor, almost like a fossil tree, because like I said, how back its roots date. One of the very first trees to grow here, and you can see the leaves are just gorgeous. There's some very beautiful leaves, and the neat thing about this tree is it'll turn to a golden color, similar to the sun, once we get into fall. And this was my very first tree that I pruned and styled out. I've been talking to a bonsai master out in Pennsylvania. It's a couple states away. Maybe one day, not maybe, one day we gonna go meet him in person and we'll bring you guys along. He helped me actually style this out. And as you guys can see here, we made some beginner mistakes. It happens. Did the wire a little too tight, lost some of the pads, but they might grow back. So I'm not gonna cut those off, if anything. Probably later on down the road, peel back the wood, make it some dead wood, add some style to it. Yeah, this is called a false Henneke cypress. You can see its first initial style with some wiring on it. But yeah, man, shit has been amazing. There's been some ups and downs. It's low-key been a roller coaster. Like, one of my grandfathers recently passed. But you know, once one life comes here, it's to create seeds, like all these trees as well as us as humans. Even once we go, it's not about what we did, but it's about what we left here. Like our grandparents, if they were never been here in life, they wouldn't have been able to have us. Yeah, I was telling you guys yesterday, this is my maple forest. I was actually gifted the seedlings for this. My only requirement was to keep it alive, and as you guys can see, it is flourishing. We got some branching going on. Yeah, this winter we're gonna do some branch selection. Probably do a small little prune up, clean it up a little bit, get some more air and light in there. Keep the growth going for a little bit. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep this as a walkthrough. And then some basic, like, if for those that are also into the growing of trees, if you guys see, let's see, these yellow leaves, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and just pluck them off and just get rid of them. Sometimes leaves fall off and they die out. It happens. It just makes room for new growth. Like you can see, there's a whole new stem growing right there. So, and in the middle, like these little leaves, you can just get those out the way, because all they do is just take energy from the tree where it could be producing new leaves. And that's pretty much the basic pruning that I'll do during the season. I pretty much just like to let my trees grow out, see how they develop, and then we'll go through and give them a prune up and bring them back to style. Yeah, these are considered indoor bonsais or tropical trees, but for the summer I bring them outdoors pretty much all day, every day. I don't ever bring them inside. And this right here, yeah, we're actually gonna bring this up, talk about this one a bit, because this was the very first. Someone give him or her some special attention. So this was my very first bonsai tree. I'm pretty sure it's a Genesig ficus. As you can see, that trunk is just absolutely gorgeous. When I first got this tree, I actually got it at a Home Depot. The leaves had a fungal infection. They were not bright and shiny like that. They were actually very, very dull. The tree was very sick, and I feel like I would have died if I wouldn't have got it. So what I did when I first got it was I went through, it was in like some crappy soil, like it was not good drainage at all. They had like some fake moss glued onto it. They had some rocks glued to it. I don't even know why they were gluing stuff to the tree, honestly. But it was definitely not looking like this when I first got it. Had a fungal infection. The leaves, the bark especially, was very, very ill. Like, now it got some color to it. Before, it was just very dull. I got a picture from when I very first got it that I'll have to post up so you guys can see pretty much the transition. But I'm just talking about pretty much what the process was to get it to this stage that it's at. So when I seen the tree, I was like, that is a gorgeous tree. I was just feeling the energy. I knew that that shit was a little sick and need some help. And I was already pretty much juggling around on if we're gonna get into the art form of bonsai or not. And I was like, man, we only live once. Why the fuck we holding back? If you want to do it, you just gotta jump in and do it. And then it started with this, and then now we walking with this. And this tree, I actually dug this up out of a field. My first field grown maple that I dug. When I got it out, it was probably bigger than this tree right here. It was probably a little bit, maybe a little bit smaller. It definitely wasn't as thick. It probably, you can't even see that, but it had decent bit of height. When I dug it out, the ground was a little bit dry. I didn't have much space to work with. Like I said, it was in a forest. It was pretty compact with a bunch of trees, so I did my best to dig it out. Lost some of the roots. Didn't get the full root ball, so I trimmed it down to get the leaves to match with the roots. Wasn't sure if it survived. Kept it in the shade for about a month. Made sure it was watered. Thankfully, none of the leaves ever dried out. After a couple weeks, I was like, all right, probably made it. And then all of a sudden, it started pushing some buds. And all of this light growth, all the light green that you see, that's all just new growth. And it's probably been, at least 4 months since I dug it out. So I know that it survived and the roots are going to continue to develop. Right now, I just have it in the native soil. I'll probably keep it in here for probably another year, let it continue grow, whatnot. Then I'm move it into some soil that I like to mix. The soil that I like to use is, let's see if I have any trees with it. Oh shoot, I'll bring it out to that later. But yeah, I got some right in here. So you guys can see my Trident maple. We got it in a little pot, and then it's in here. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, as you guys can see, the roots will eventually grow out of the pot. So what I like to do is, I'm not planning on repotting it anytime. And since when I got this Trident, it was like yay tall with one pair of leaves. I have the original picture from when I very first got it, so I'll post that up with it so you guys can see what it started with and now what we're rocking with now. Now the Trident maple, I love these leaves. They're so gorgeous. I didn't know at first that they could handle full sun, so I was keeping it in the shade. But yeah, like you can see here, these leaves, you could just prune these off. You don't even gotta keep them on. Like this one, since that one got a long stem, it's just droopy. You can just go ahead and just come right back to the bud and pluck that off, and then it's gonna sprout some new. And what you can do is you can either just drop it on the ground or put it in the soil. Sometimes I like to, if the leaves are healthy at least, I'll put it right back into the soil because it'll give nutrients into the tree. It pretty much will give itself its own fertilizer, but I also do fertilize my trees. We'll go have a separate video specifically on the fertilization. For now, it's just a walkthrough letting y'all see the garden that we've been working with. And this has been a really, really fun tree to watch. I was excited when I found this because, like I mentioned in the first one, it was literally just a stick, no branching. So I was like, sweet, we can really develop this out and style it. But after the first couple of years, it's just gonna be full growth. Like this branch here wasn't even there, and I got it. Now you can see these gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. Yeah, man. But yeah, some like this. We got like, by the time about those seeds, I'm trying to get a twin trunk going, like how this one grew. But if you got like grass and shit in your stuff, you can just go ahead and pluck that out. I always want to make sure that the soil is nice and damp. Yesterday we had a big storm, so I know the trees are doing well. But yeah, this is another one of my already made bonsais. Just been letting it just grow like crazy, because when I first got it, it wasn't really producing flowers that I wanted, and it had some slow growth. So I was like, all right, let's just set this outside and just let it go crazy. As y'all can see, it's getting time for a trim up. We got branches going down, our branches going everywhere. But as you can, hopefully you can see, we got the flowers growing on it as well. This is a flowering bonsai, which is beautiful to watch. Let's go ahead and set that right back down. That was also one of my first. But let's go back to the main subject. So like I was saying, we got this at a garden center, specifically Home Depot. It was a very sick tree. I pretty much got it pruned, started slowly. Well, first what we did was we repotted it, took it out the crappy soil, put it in a mixture of some lava rock, pumice, and akadama. Just some good draining, typical bonsai soil. As you can see, the tree's loving it, roots are loving it. It's pretty strong. It has actually fallen out of its pot one time due to a major storm, knocked it over, came out, put it back in, repotted it, made sure it's good, and as you can see, it's grown. That was about a month ago. Hasn't ever shown me that it suffered from it at all, except just putting on a lot of new growth. But yeah, these leaves are just gorgeous, man. They did not used to look like that. It was very dull. Had to go ahead, repotted that, and the next step was to deal with the fungal infection. So I kept it separated, kept it in a room by itself with a humidifier, give it some good humidity, some good airflow. Made sure that we were watering it. I would slowly start to prune off the infected leaves, and don't want to do it all at once, especially since it was almost like a 4, 5, 6 month process of getting the tree to this stage. And now that it is here, it is putting on some amazing growth, very huge leaves, and it's just looking gorgeous. As you can see, those roots, the trunk. Yeah, man. Then I ended up going back to the Home Depot to check out their section, and they didn't even have anything. So I was like, yeah, they probably just threw them all away. So I was glad I got this when I did, because it wouldn't be here right now if I would have just let it stay. I mean, who knows, maybe I wouldn't even have gone all the way with it. But anyways, yeah, sometimes you just gotta listen to the tree, take it in small steps, and it's gonna grow the way that it needs to, because these seeds, every seed of life just loves to grow, from the grass to the weeds to all these trees to that big ass one. Us as humans, we're the same exact way. We want to grow and we love to grow, and when we aren't, that's when some other diseases comes where you feel off versus at ease with your life. And as you guys can see, it ain't nothing but peace out here. But anyways, let's get more into it. So we got some of these leaves are a little bit more delicate than others. Like this one, I haven't been taking it as special care of it as I probably should have. So we're actually gonna go ahead and move this right now into the shade. Since I lost my shade tarp, some of my trees have been getting a little bit more sunburnt or sun scorched than normal because of it, which is why I'm gonna eventually get one. But a tree like this is called a purple ghost. You can see those gorgeous leaves, but they are very, very delicate. As you can see, already sun scorched. And then if you keep it in the sun, then it'll lose its nice vibrancy and start getting a little bit dull. The opposite of something like this, where if you move it out the sun, it's not gonna be as vibrant. So you pretty much just wanna learn the plant that you're growing with to get it to grow the flourish the way that it wants to the best. And like with this one, it's not necessarily gonna turn or get to a vibrant green unless you keep it in the sun. Especially this one. This one's native out in Texas, so you know it can handle that heat. Like this new growth, no sun scorch at all, and it's been staying in the direct heat even when it's 95 plus. But some of the older leaves, those are a little sun scorched. And I actually got this from a website called Mr. Maple, and they ship it to your door. When I first got it, it was a little bit higher. I ended up pruning it back some, getting it a little bit shorter. Wired one of the branches out a little bit. Probably should have done the two branches to one wire rule, so that I could have moved that one out a little bit more. But you know, it is what it is. We're still learning, we're still new. It's also a learning curve for real. But yeah, man, it's been amazing, not gonna lie. Especially just learning about life in general and just all things about it. We got some red buds over here. Look at that, they got leaves of a heart, because you know nature does love you. Oh God. Yeah, we got this one's beautiful. You got the pink leaves to the purple. If you keep this in the sun too much, then the leaves will end up turning to a green. Pretty much like how you can see here, the leaves start out like a purple pink, and then it goes to a green. You got that two-tone, for real, for real. This one, I actually got this from under the trampoline at the old house. Not too sure exactly what it is off the top of my head, but it looked kind of cool. I knew I was about to cut the grass, so I was like, might as well just throw it in some soil, watch it grow and whatnot. Didn't have that many leaves when I first got it, but it looks cool. This is called a field maple. You can see the leaves look a little bit different than some of the other maples. That's the beautiful thing about maples, is all of them come in different shapes and sizes and colors, and all put on something different. But you guys have noticed some of the trees, well, probably two of them, got some strand wrap around it. That is called a process of air layering. Oh, did we got some roots in there? I hope so, because I really want that air layer to work out. Now, what air layering is you take a section of a tree, you scrape. I'll probably do a video next year about it, because I'm gonna be doing some air layering on this tree, and probably that tree, and then probably that coral bark. But we'll let you guys see the ending process, because it's about get ready to check these here in about a month. Now, what air layering is you take a section of the tree like so, and you prepare it to expose the under the bark. I forget what that is called. We're still learning the terminology, so forgive me. But you expose the first layer of the bark. You just take off a very fine layer. You want to get some rooting hormone. Put that rooting hormone on there and get some sphagnum moss. More preferably is be the best route. And then you just make sure to coat that, and that's going to act as the soil to promote root growth in here. So that this part of the tree, from everywhere that this is and up, is going to hopefully send roots to grow out from right here. Now I'll probably go through and prune some of these leaves, since it is getting a bit thick. Now, when I first got this tree, I actually got this tree for $20 at Walmart. I was like, ain't no way. I was like, that's lit. It was the only one also, so I was like, bro, I gotta just get that bitch real quick. And then we're gonna work on shortening it. Already have a little bit. Some of these, as you can see, they've been cut right there. Got cut right there, pretty much at the tips, because some of these branches came all the way up, almost higher than the tree, and it just kept getting knocked over by the wind because it didn't have a strong enough base to hold all the weight that it was. So I was like, all right, perfect time to prune it back a little bit. Did that, and now it's just been flourishing and been compacting exactly what I was hoping it would do. And most deciduous trees, they'll bud back. If you, anywhere you cut it, like let's say if I came up in here and I cut it right there. I'm not going to, but let's just say I cut it right there. Some of these buds that are down here on the trunk are going to bud out and open and sprout. And that's pretty much what I've done with some of these trees. Is I've done basic, when I first got them, did some basic pruning on this one and that one. The original owner started them as a seed, and they've been growing for about 4 years. Like, they started as a seed, like down like that. And that's why I'm excited to watch these seeds grow. Pretty much everything here is from seed except this one, as you can see down here. That has been grafted. We got another grafted tree right over here. And then we got a third grafted tree right here. Now, for those that don't know what a grafting is I'm gonna come back and show you guys with this one, because I feel like it's a perfect example. Grafting is where you take the root stock of a desirable maple that has the strong roots, and you attach it to the branch of another maple that it's hard for it to root from an air layer. Some maples air layer a little bit better than others. Like this one right here, I noticed the root growth probably like 2-3 months ago, and this has been developing in there. And probably give it another month, then we're gonna go through, unwrap that, chop it down a little bit, chop it back to where under the styrofoam is, and then we're going to develop the top part out into a bonsai. It's gonna stay in a big container for a little bit, and then it'll eventually go into something more shallower, like one of these containers. Not specifically that, but something along those lines. That is called the official shoe for your bonsai tree. These are just the developing pots or nursery pots, whatever you might want to call it. But yeah, this is like bud bags right there. Like, I haven't done too much trimming on this one. It's been like, I maybe have made like one cut like right there, because that branch was like coming on the inside. Yeah, I haven't done much work on much of these trees. Just been taking care of them, letting them grow. And then now it got to a stage where I was like, all right, let's go and bring this to YouTube now. And the trees are the real show of life. We just hear a part of it. For those that don't know, trees are actually here to help us live life. If it wasn't for the trees, none of us here would be able to breathe. Now, I'm gonna lie to you. And they also put on a show throughout the years. But I ain't even showed y'all. I actually got, oh, yeah, something interesting that I found out. For those that are also into the growing of bonsai, is if you start seeds in a bottle, like in a container like this, there's a little water bottle, cut the top off. And if you keep the top on there as it's growing, it'll compress the trunk and get some nice curve to it. So you can see that right there. It's a nice S shape. And that was no styling whatsoever. That was just all naturally done. I'm gonna let these continue growing here for maybe another year. And then we're gonna plop them into another pot and show you guys that. And this little guy right here, I'm pretty sure it's just some weeds. It was growing in one of my maples, so I was like, fuck it, let's just pull it out, put in some soil, and see what happens. And it's been flowering out. It's pretty much like this shit, so I'm probably not gonna grow it for too much longer. But I was just curious and interested, and that's just something that I'll be doing sometimes. If I see something that looks interesting, I'll take that, put in some soil, and watch it grow. This one right here was actually a volunteer that was growing out of there. So I eventually popped it out of that and gave it its own little container with all sorts of different drainage. As you can see, this container is nothing but drainage. I did that because the more drainage, the faster the roots can develop. This one, when I first plopped it out, did not have it was pretty much just that down there. It's a little bit less, so it's already grown a lot just in that container. And this is originally a blood good, but it's been suffering a little bit. I don't even know. The leaves were purple when I first got it. Now it's green. It's been slowing down on its growth. Hope it's not root rot. Probably have to slow down on the watering and the fertilizing, just let it grow. But yeah, no, that was a fun tree to watch in the spring because it's like a purple color. Man, it's starting to get a little windy, but that wind do feel great. Anyways, we're gonna go take you guys to our shaded section, and then we're probably gonna wrap up this video for now. And then you guys can see it. There's been a whole bunch going on. We ain't slowing down by any stretch of the imagination. We're trying to go ahead and find our balance with this, as well as see where we want to grow, where we want to improve, where we try and go in life, because we only get one chance to live it, so we might as well go ahead and do it. Don't be focused on the mistakes that you made, instead the lessons that you learn along the way. It's kind of how I look at it. But back here, we actually is our shaded section. We got 2 cuttings in here. Now what these are this was a cutting from the azalea. And pretty much essentially is you're going to want to take a part of your tree. Normally one that's growing, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but pretty much if you cut a part of your tree off, like let's see if I came with this tree, and if we cut it right here, and then if I stripped some of the bark down, put rooting hormone on that, planted that, then we'd be attempting to root a cutting, because you cut part of the tree off and I'm attempting to root it to grow a separate tree. So we'll see what happens with it. I haven't had too much success with cuttings. I think I only have one that's rooted so far, and I've tried multiple. This one, we found this under the deck at the old crib. It started getting a little weak, so I moved it into the shade. Hope that it can strengthen up a bit. This is a seedling that we did plant in here with 2 other ones. The squirrels attacked it, got it out, so I transferred it to its own container and used this for cuttings. Now this is a soil that I was telling you guys about that I like making myself. I don't make it, but I just get the ingredients for it. We got 1 part fine bark, 1 part topsoil, and 1 part mulch, which helps it get the moisture in the soil that you want, but it's not going to stay there for too long, and it's going to be nice and drainage. It's not too compacting. You see it kind of just falls apart, and it just feels nice at the end of the day. This is another small little field grown maple that I've got out the field that we've been letting grow out here, seeing what it developed through the years. And then these are my oak trees. This is a chestnut oak tree and a white oak tree. If you guys know what these spottings are, let me know. I think it might be from lack of water, but the soil feels pretty good. So I don't think it's drought stress. I don't know. It is a white oak, so it could be it's changing leaf color, but I don't think so. I don't know, it might. Y'all let me know. I'm still new in this. I'm learning with you guys. So let's just go ahead and see how the development goes. Anyways, that's the first walkthrough of the Mystical Garden. Hope you guys have been growing, enjoying life, trusting the process, trusting the sunlight, knowing it's gonna come again even after the darkest night. Let y'all go ahead and see that visual quick. Bad as fuck. Anyways, we gonna see y'all later. One love, stay tuned, and we gonna be around. Probably gonna bring some riding videos for y'all on the Nighthawk. We still got that. Been working on that. Probably gonna do a story time a little bit later down the road about something that happened while riding. We've gone a decent bit of riding on that bike so far. Since I've had it, for those that have been staying tuned, we've almost put 1,500 miles on it. We've almost gone 2K miles on that bitch already. I've only had it for a year. Last month actually marked the 1-year anniversary with that bike. So that's been amazing to be able to come across that and get it up and going. Now, we just got a further way to go, for real, for real. Appreciate everyone that's been tuning in and following through. And we gonna see you guys along the way. Yeah, look at that beautiful growth. Like fireworks, for real, for real. That's how it reminds me, especially. Now I was watching this one start shooting off its new growth the other day. Let's see where some small buds are. Oh yeah, up here at top. So it starts off something small and feathery like that. Or let's find a bud. Yeah, like that. You can see that. And then it slowly starts growing bigger into that. And then it will develop into the green that it is. Sounds like a fireworks show, because it starts as a little bud, then it goes up and expands and goes out and changes colors. It's kind of cool. I don't know, I fuck with it. I love it. Won't want to do anything else to it. Pretty much just getting back to the balance and harmony of life. Hopefully y'all been gardening, been growing. And the day would rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Just remember that. Y'all stay tuned to life. Stay out these streets and get it right with your dreams. One love, y'all.